Our church has been engaged in mission activity nationally, internationally, locally, and we were looking for what would be a new catalytic way to engage our folks.
Every church wants to change the world. We want to do good things for God. The question is, where do we start? How do you begin?
What if we partnered with Team World Vision to do this run where we engage folks in mission? And it was like, let's go for it.
And you just saw this inner sense of strength that people developed. They realized there was way more in them that God had put in them that they weren't tapping into.
And they just came out. They rose up, and it was a call to this self that was always inside of them. And it was a very powerful piece to witness and to be part of.
And to call people to something bigger than themselves, to a task or a project or a goal that they could be involved in that would mean something to them personally, but also mean something to someone else on the other side of the world in terms of providing clean water.
The people who came forward were folks who I never would have imagined coming forward. Many of them were from kind of the periphery of the congregation. Some it was in fact their first or second Sunday at LaSalle, but others were there, but they had been kind of in the shadows.
Team World Vision made it so easy for us to launch because you did all of the back end work.
And we opened our little packets, and there was our schedule.
I've watched people get more involved with our community at church. And so worship attendance, it has increased.
When people start to see that they are global citizens, and when they start to see that their choices, either their choices to run or their choices to give, are connected with needs around the world, I think it opens up an entire different vista for them.
Well, this is just a practical way to live out the gospel that we hadn't had prior to Team World Vision. You know, we're just doing something that is meeting a basic need that we take for granted that I think catalyzed people to go, gratitude. And I think gratitude fuels greater generosity.
As a church, we do want to give opportunity from the stage to talk about some of the missions projects or the causes that we're involved in and that we care about. So giving a few minutes for Team World Vision wasn't a big deal for us to take that step forward.
So if you're a pastor and you're saying, why should I consider this? Am I going to be giving away resources that I don't have? And there's all kinds of fears. I would tell you there's two reasons why you want to do this. One is you want to be a part of a great, very tangible way of changing the world. But you also have a spiritual formation opportunity here. As your people go through some of the sacrifice and suffering and goal achievement of the mission that you're on, it's going to transform them.
And I'll tell you, a group of alive believers, people who are really on fire and have a sense of how empowered they are to change the world, that's unstoppable.